So, Victoria, what do you have to say concerning, people trying to discover themselves in their alone time? I don't like, it's not lonely. It's not being lonely. It's your alone time. The powerful moments. If you truly
It
know what we're
is.
talking about, the most powerful moments in
Oh
anyone's
yeah,
life. What do you have to say?
oh yeah, I completely agree with you. Alone time, it's not loneliness because, like you said, you rightly said, it is a time for you to discover yourself. It is a time for you to sit with yourself and walk through a lot of things, begin to understand how to love yourself so that the right people will come in and love you. And you were right by saying that being single and wanting to jump into a relationship, it's not really the best, because here's the thing. And if you are rushing to get into a relationship, remember that sometimes when you get into a relationship with someone, whether it's platonic or love relationship or whatever it is, sometimes you have to change your who you are so that they will accept you. You know what I mean? So for
Trying to
somebody
fit
who
in.
does not
Trying
know
to
who they
fit
are,
in.
a
Yeah.
guy will, if you're going into a love relationship with a guy and you're so desperate to be in a relationship with him, and he's telling you all those things that he likes in somebody that he wants, if you don't know who you are, you begin to change your
For him.
behavior, the things that you want, to align with what he wants so that he will accept you. You become a pick me person. Oh, pick me. I'm going to change. I'm going to be a wife material. And that is why you see when they get married 2 years later, 3 years later, she begins to realize, oh, he's not really making me happy. He's not doing things that I want, and then she begins to demand it. And then the man says, oh, you're disturbing me. Why are you complaining? You're nagging me. You're doing this. You're doing this. And the woman now, it's too late now for you to now begin to make demands of what you want, of things that you want him to do to accept you, to make you happy. He's not willing to do that because you gave that up when you chose to align yourself to what he wants in a person. So making those changes affects you long term, because when you now start demanding your the way you want to be treated, it's not going to happen. He's going to see it as you changing. He's going to see it as you being difficult. He's going to see it as you not loving him the way you used to love him. Oh, why have you changed? You see men say that all the time. Oh, she's changed. It's not who she is. No, she
Exactly.
changed who she was so that you can pick her. And now she wants you to love her, and you're not going to do that because that's not you. So being alone is a time for you to solidify who you are. We all make that mistakes. I made that mistake. It's okay to do that. You live and learn. So sometimes when you tell people who are single, hey, take your time, they think you're being jealous
They
or
don't
you're
understand
not
it. They don't
sympathetic
understand it. Honestly.
to their situation.
Yeah.
But
They don't understand.
you're just telling them, hey, take your time. Don't make the mistake we made, right?
Exactly.
Emphasize
Yeah.
who you are and stand in that, you know, because when you know who you are, you know how to love yourself, the right person will come. So when somebody comes and say, oh, I'm looking for a wife that can cook, that doesn't ask me for money, and that would do this, do this, do this, you'll be like, oh, that's so nice. Good for you. Well, I wish you luck. And he'll be like, wait, what do you mean? He's like, oh no,
Exactly.
I'm looking for somebody who is gonna be my
That's
partner,
beautiful.
who's gonna help me have a relationship with God, who is gonna take care of me. My love language is you buying me gifts and spoiling me. So you say what you want, and he'll be like, oh, okay. So you understand what I mean? So it's not about, so that loneliness is a time for you to discover yourself and build yourself and know what you want and stand in that truth so that the right
And
person
know how to.
comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know how to say, hey, this is who I am. Are you gonna take me or not? And he's gonna say, this is who I am. And then you guys can reach a compromise. You see people who have really experienced life and has really understood what it means to be loved correctly. You see them when they get into a relationship, they have a very good relationship with their partner. Even with friends, we make mistakes too. We jump into relationship with people quickly.
Yeah.
You meet a friend at a
Yeah.
party, and you're just talking and you start vibing and you become friends. You invite them to your house, you go to their house, they eat with you, you eat with them, and then 3 months later they backstab you and you're like, ah, I thought you were my best friend. Why did you backstab me? Why did you lie about me? You
You
did not
don't
say,
know them.
you didn't know them. You just jumped into the relationship. So there are several things. So it's not just romantic relationship. It's not just marriage relationship. There are so many things that you have to sit down and walk through before you get into it. Even if going to church, going to a church is not just going to a church. You have to make sure that the values of the church, that they're a Bible-based church, right? That what they're preaching, they actually do it as well, right? So it's not just talking, oh, there's no gossip, but they gossip, right? It's not, oh, we're here to support you, and then a family member, a church member is in the hospital, and there's no money to pay the bills, and the church is not stepping up to help them. So if that's not the type of relationship you want to have with a church, then you don't go there. So we need to work with ourselves, whether it's in a relationship or not, stay in that loneliness, understand who you are. It's a frightening process. I'm going to tell you that. It's not easy. You're going to hate
That's why I
yourself.
said you need God. You need God to be able to carry on at that
Exactly. So
stage.
you gotta get to a point where you say, oh no, I gotta do this. I gotta weeder it out and then figure myself out. And when you figure yourself out, when you go into any relationship with anybody, any organization, any once you see that their values don't align with you, you don't even have to argue with them. You excuse yourself. That's it. So you've
Yeah.
grown so well that all this heartbreaks, all the backstabbing stops because now you know how to think things through. You know patterns because you've experienced it. So it's not about trust issue. People talk about, oh, I don't trust people, I don't trust people. Yeah, it's good to not trust people, but is it just trust or is it you not making the right decision? Because it's so easy for us to blame others, right? But we need to accept the mistakes that we make ourselves. What is your role in that backstabbing? Don't just blame the person that backstab you, right? What did you do? What is your participation in that? So these are all the things that you can develop as a person who is by themselves. Do not call yourself lonely. Do not call yourself depressed. What are you depressed about? You think about it. Oh, I'm depressed because, I'm not in a good relationship with my spouse, or I'm not in a good relationship with my boss at work. Okay, what can I do differently to make it better? Can I go sit, with the boss and think about it and talk about it? If it's not working, maybe that's God telling you, hey, this is not it. Sometimes people are also in relationship that is not meant to be anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you
Yeah.
can pray and go to all the pastors and all the, people who can see and do everything. If it's not the will of God for you anymore, if it's not fulfilling the purpose that God wants in your life, you can pray till tomorrow. It's going to be the same situation. It would never change until you change and listen to what God is telling you. So that's how I see relationship loneliness is something that you have to sit through and walk through. It doesn't mean that you're sad. You can listen to music, watch movies. You can still talk to people. I'm not saying keep away from people. You can still
No.
talk to people, but make sure that the people within your space are quality people that will help you grow. Are quality people who will teach you how to be a better human being, who is there to uplift you, not there to put people down, right? So I don't want to be in a group. I don't want to be friends with somebody who is constantly putting somebody else's down. No, I want somebody who is telling me how they're encouraging others, because I know when my time comes, you'll be able to encourage me. You'll be able to help me, right? So you talk about how, you listen to somebody who had it. That's the kind of person I want to hear, because I know that if I'm down, if I call you, you can listen to me and
Yeah.
say, my friend, I hear you. That's what I want. So I don't want, so our loneliness time should be when we work on ourselves, when we get to be who we
Yeah.
are and accept that. Yeah. Oh, I think somebody else
Yeah.
wants to join. Is it
Yeah.
Unama? Yeah.
Okay. All right, Victoria, thank you so much. That's a fantastic one. Yeah, thank you so much. And there's something that before I proceed again, I'm gonna thank some people here, everyone actually. And Beauty Phillips, I see you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. I really, really, truly appreciate. And for all of you, I'm seeing so many greetings here. Greeting you all back. Thank you for joining us on this program, and I hope you're enjoying it. If you also have something to chip in what we're discussing already, please feel free to let me know. Let me call you up. Yeah. All right. There's something else. We talked about women building themselves, which is very, very important. We talked about women looking for a job. If you don't have a job, look for a job or learn a skill or start learning something. We have talents. We all have talents. Try and develop yourself. Do not care what anybody is saying concerning you. Just develop your talent. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because some women, there are some things we do that we might think we are, you know, doing the right thing, being on the right path. Well, I don't know how any other person sees it, but for me, I do not fancy such. And that thing is that time you have that you go to a man's house, maybe someone you are dating, you're in love with, you start to, doing your duty, wife duty, when you are just a mere girlfriend. For me, it is not the right thing to do because you playing a wife duty as a girlfriend, what will be would definitely be at the end of the day. If it's not meant to be, like Victoria told us, it is not meant to be, and you can't force it. So I would rather tell women before we start saying things like, I'm depressed, I'm not happy, he's not treating me right upon everything I did for him, upon everything I do this, do that. Please use that time that you are with him playing that wife duty when you know already you are not a wife. You are not yet a wife. Please use that time. Learn a skill. Develop yourself. Look for a job. From me, I would rather tell you, use that time, build yourself, just like we're saying. When you learn how to build yourself, when you learn to take your power back as a woman, nothing anybody does can easily get to you anymore. Nothing, absolutely nothing except death. When you build yourself, at least you learn the true happiness, because the truth is true happiness comes from God, not from man, like man as in human being. It doesn't come from people. True happiness comes from God. That's why I say stop playing the wife's role as a girlfriend. Use that time to develop yourself. Use that time to make yourself a priority. Does not mean you cannot still love whom you are loving, but set boundaries. Have respect for yourself, if not for anything, for your womanhood. Have respect, right? It doesn't matter the job you are doing. I keep saying that. It doesn't matter the things you have as a single or as even a married woman who is just struggling on her. It does not really matter what you have. Like Victoria rightfully said, whatever she has, she makes sure it's very clean. She puts it on and go wherever she wants to go. It mustn't necessarily have to be designer wears before you can now walk, go out as a woman. No, give yourself that dignity, that respect. Develop yourself and make them to want you. Now, for anybody that wants to marry you at the end of the day, should you be a single, that man would have known by then the kind of person you are. Assuming he doesn't know or he claims he doesn't know, the way you would talk. Now, listen, we said something here. In your alone time, you will know how to talk. Many women doesn't know how to talk, and that's why we always fall into victims. What I mean by doesn't know how to talk is not like I'm talking. All of us can talk the way I'm talking. We all are talking here. What I am talking about is knowing what you want, knowing your rights, knowing your boundaries, and say them the way it is, politely, without insulting. And you can only know all these things in your alone time, because by then it is between you and your God. And truth be told, God talks to each and every one of us. That's one thing people don't know. Maybe you see someone and you believe that the person is living a reckless life. Even in the midst of living a reckless life, God talks to that person. God talks to that person. All it requires for you to do is to listen. It's just to listen. But how do you listen in your alone time? You can't listen when you are too occupied. You can't listen. So we should stop seeing that alone time as we're lonely. We're not lonely. This is the time God is actually molding you again, remolding you into something different that people are used to. So when you meet whosoever, maybe you're in love with and you're hoping to settle down with that person, you can now know how to talk. You can now say the things the way it is without fear. Because a lot of women, because you have not yet developed yourself, you are so scared because you are trying to please without knowing that you should please yourself first. Because you don't know how it works. That's why when you find yourself in a relationship, your diary is filled with yes. No one's diary is filled with yes. Your diary will be filled with yes and no, not just yes, 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 yes. Then that yes is because you don't know how to say it and you are trying to please, without knowing that when you are too open, like when you say it the way it is, you are making your man to see the real you, who you truly are. Now, any man that is for you is for you. The worst thing that can happen to a woman is hiding your feelings, pretending, because you can't pretend for long. Pretense is just for a short time. It's just for a short time. But for the long run, you can't pretend anymore. And by the time you reveal your true color, I mean, is not like a wicked person, no. Your real self, the way God made you, that's when the man will start saying you've changed. You are nagging. You are this, you are that, because all along you've been pretending. So it is best for you to discover yourself. Let's begin from there as a woman. Discover yourself. Set your boundaries on time. Spend more time with yourself in that your alone time. Now, the truth is, even if you're in a relationship, don't choke whosoever you're in a relationship with. The more you choke them, the more they distance themselves from you, the more they see you like a pest. Yeah? So don't choke them. Get yourself busy. That's why I said get yourself busy. I know Nigeria is so hard. Getting a job here is very, very, very difficult. I know, except people. Fine, understandable. But whereby it is you can't get that job, then there are so many skills you can learn. That's why I keep telling women, learn so many things. There are things you can learn and start using that thing to make money. In the process of doing that, you're giving yourself happiness. And again, we should understand that as women, no matter how little money you are making, for example, assuming you're a woman, at the end of whatever it is you are doing, as putting food on your table, you see 5,000 naira, you see 10,000 naira. For me, Chege, it's a big deal. It is a big deal because you cannot compare someone who does something and sees money at the end of the day out of that which she is doing. You can't compare that person with someone who does nothing. You can't. So we should not be ashamed of the jobs we are doing, so long as you are doing a good job. You are not going about killing people. No, if it's a good job, I don't care what that job is, be proud of yourself in that job. Anything that can put food on your table, be proud of it as a woman. And another thing you need to do as a woman is social media. My friends, social media, people show you what they want you to see. People show you what we all have, our downsides in life. But unfortunately, social media, when we see some flashy things, you think that your own world is rubbish, that you're not living the life you're supposed to live, forgetting that people want you to see what they want you to see. And it's not a bad thing when you see people sharing their happy moments. For those who wants to share their happy moment, it's not a bad thing. You watching it as a woman, don't take it too hard, like beating yourself, calling yourself name, that people are living the life you would have wanted to live. No, instead appreciate whatever it is you see. It's okay to appreciate them. It's okay to wish for that which you are watching, but don't indulge in killing yourself because of what you see on social media, because it is said all that glitters is truly not gold. That's why sometimes when I'm on social media, I keep thinking like funny things. I said it would be nice for us to do things like social media reality, social media reality. That is when a lot of people will actually wake up, more especially women. As for men, like I always say, men know how to find happiness. They don't dwell on women to give them happiness. They know how to find it. They know where to get it. Now, because the program is for women, please sit up. Find your own happiness. Find your own happiness in yourself. Don't dwell on anybody. I don't care who that person is. Even if it's your dad, your mom, your siblings, they cannot give you happiness. Your man cannot give you happiness. Your children cannot give you happiness. The only thing your children can do for you is to fulfill you as a woman. But depending on them to be happy, no, you are doing the wrong. They have their own lives, just like Victoria just told us. They even have their own issues. They have their own issues. So you don't expect them to give you that happiness. Happiness comes from within. It comes from within. Then another thing I'm going to say is here is it is okay. It is okay to ask for help. It is okay to talk to another person, because we cannot do this alone. This is life. We can't do this alone. So don't think that your alone time, like we said here, is for you to desert yourself from the whole world. No. In that your alone time, it is okay to call and ask for help. Whether you receive the help or you didn't receive the help, it is still okay to talk to someone out there. We call it alone time because it could be that your friends, the ones that call themselves your bosom friends, deserted you. Maybe they were looking down on you like you didn't measure up. Maybe because of what you've been facing through in your house, you are not always frequent with them, and they start looking down on you like you didn't measure up and decide to desert you. Let them go. As a woman, let them go. Now, that's what I mean by that alone time. Use that alone time to begin to develop yourself, build yourself, set your boundaries, make yourself happy. Start learning whatever it is you can learn to develop yourself. Yeah. The last time we had this program again, one of us mentioned that I think her own issue was between her and family, when she thought that family would give her happiness. Yeah, when she thought her family would give her, but eventually she found out that family cannot give you happiness. You are supposed to find happiness within you, and of course evolve. Thank you, my darling prophetic. Thank you. Victoria, you remember her when she said it? I think that's Andrew. That's Andrew, because she used to, she said she used to live with her elder sister, trying to please. No, she did everything possible.
Right.
It wasn't working out. She decides to move out because she has now found out that no matter what in life, see, the moment that umbilical cord has been cut, you're alone. I keep saying that you are alone. You are now in this world by yourself on your own, even though you have parents, you have siblings. So that's why it's good for us that have children, begin on time to nurture them. Begin on time. Then for those of us that are already adults, no one told you certain things about life. That's why this program is here. We are motivating each other. We're trying to empower each other here. You can learn from another person's mistake, then know where to correct your own. There's a lot to learn here. That's why I said, when your friends refuse to desert you, let them go. Don't force it. I have seen women trying to force back themselves in their cliques. If you do that as a woman, you will not have respect. You will never have respect. I don't care who that clique, whoever they might be, even if they are high, glamorous people, to be a friend, but they decide to desert, let them go. In your own small world, let me just put it like that. Yeah, in your own small world, put God first. Remember, when we're always occupied, we tend to neglect God, honestly. But putting God first, then you see how your life will start moving. You will see so many changes in your life. Sometimes you'll be shocked, you'll be amazed on the person you are changing into, you are involving. There's a lot we can offer in this life as a person. There's a lot we can offer. But when you allow people to overshadow you, cover you up, keep overshadowing your life, you might think you are worthless. More especially women, you might think you are worthless. No woman is worthless. No single woman is worthless. All it takes is grace of God, number one, to see you through. Begin to work on yourself. And again, reach out. Reach out. Talk to anyone your heart tells you to call and reach out. Reach out to that person. Reach out to that person. Be the best version of yourself. Then if you are married, as you are being the best version of yourself, your partner will turn around and begin to wonder if this is the person he married before. Now, the truth is, whether he wonders or not, you don't have to bother. Keep developing yourself, because in this life, we all came alone. Did there anybody will go, you go alone. With your siblings, even with your siblings, you all of you are different. How much more someone you met out there in the name of love, both of you now came together. Why would you want to kill yourself as a woman? Yeah, okay, prophetic lioness. Oh yeah. Victoria, prophetic lioness says some women were abandoned because they abandoned themselves first. And I'm afraid to say she's right. When you abandon yourself, definitely you'll be abandoned.
Exactly.
Whereby, even if the man chooses to abandon you, or even if your friends choose to abandon you, or even if your family choose to abandon you, and you begin to work on yourself diligently, then you now, turn around and you become someone everybody's sorting after you for one thing or the other. All these people will begin to come back. That's how life is. All these people will begin to come back. But if you're expecting them to look at your face, all this pity party everything, it does not work. It doesn't work. That's why I love what Victoria said. Don't look for pillow, mattress. You lie down in your sorrow, you cry yourself to stupor because you want people to have pity on you. It does not work. It doesn't work. In fact, the more you are into that state, the more you are pushing people away, because there are problems and everybody's carrying their own bags and baggages, but then no one will tell you. So that's why we're making this program. Just like we always say here, women should learn how to build themselves and find happiness and know that they are worthy. I don't care what you look like, but tell yourself that you are the most prettiest in this world. Victoria, when we were children, children are good at this. The moment the mom tells them, I bought you this dress. This dress is the most beautiful. In fact, your own is stupid. They believe it.
Yes.
And it could be that the dress is not even the most fantastic of them all. You can't talk that child out of that which the mother told her. You can't talk that child out. The child is ready to wear that dress in front of presidents and whosoever.
Every day too.
Proud of herself. Yeah. So that's what I want women to begin to do. Women. For women.
And just let me say something too, is that sometimes we're also crying to people who actually want us to be crying. So we talk about having issues with our spouses or our friends or our family, and in reality, they're actually the ones hurting you. And you don't know that, and you're looking for their validation and you're looking for their support, not knowing that the person that you're going to support you, that you think you love, they don't actually love you. They don't actually care about you. They're actually happy with your situation. So why are you killing yourself and being angry that they're not supporting you when they are actually the ones hurting you? So I think that's something that we forget to say to ourselves. We forget to say that to ourselves. So you're angry. Oh, my friend didn't support me. Like I had experiences where I had friends who betrayed me. And, I'll be like, wait, where was this coming from? Like, I never believed that this is something that would happen, you know? And then I began to reflect back and see there were certain situations where they actually gave me an indication of who they were, that they didn't really care about me, but I did not think about it. I didn't act on it again, and that's one of the things that you have to work on. So look at the face of the person that you're complaining to about something. Their body movement, their body chemistry will tell you, and then you keep your mouth shut. Stop talking. Find somebody else to talk to. They will tell you whether they support you or not by their action, by their responses. You're talking to somebody and they will move their body away. I don't know if you've experienced that, where you're talking to somebody, instead of them facing you, they're sideways. When somebody gives you that body language, what else are you looking for? Like, what else do you want them to just say to you? That alone tells you that the person has zero interest in what you're going to, and they actually, and if you're very careful, you can see them smirk, right? They're smiling or smirking, like, ooh, okay, I see. And they will check up on you just to make sure that you're still suffering. So I don't know if you've experienced where you see a friend will call you like, hey, it's been a long time. I just want to see you. Are you okay? And then you're like, oh, this person cares about me. And then you start talking about all the things that you're going through. No, they were checking to make sure that what they're doing to you, it's still happening to you, and then you're giving them feedback.
I call them monitoring spirit. I call them monitoring spirit. And you don't even know. And you're already blabbing, saying something you are not supposed to say. I call them monitoring
Right.
spirit.
Yeah.